3.5.1 going to the PTU, 3.5 a debacle to most. We're going to talk about the Evocati, also lovingly referred to as avocados.
I am so sorry to my world. This is not what we want.
Holy guacamole. More after these messages. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of the games who make continued content on the games possible. The games patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Steam gift cards, Star Citizen packages, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating just $1 if in any way you enjoyed the game's content. Thank you. No, this isn't a hit piece against the Evocati. First off, most of the Evocati are people who take time out of their life to actually test the game, and for that I am grateful. But we're going to talk about the effectiveness of the Evocati in general and how SIG goes about testing the game for quality, which is also called QA testers. This was an interesting eye-opener for me. I had a lot of people message me within the past couple months about how shitty 3.5 was, and they were upset because they felt like it was a step backwards. I had some Evocati members even tell me that it wasn't the greatest, and they voiced this. SIG finally listened to them and said, okay, we're going to even delay 3.5 another 2 weeks. We have a lot more issues in 3.5, which is why we're very happy about 3.5.1. So here we are on our community page, and I posed a question because I thought it was interesting because of the amount of people that were very upset at the Evocati. There's a lot of people that think that the Evocati are only people that are large whales that spend tons of money and they get the privilege to be Evocati. But I think somewhere in the middle of people actually paying tons to SIG in regards to the amount of ships they're buying, and somewhere being actively engaged with reporting bugs is where the actual truth lies as far as who is admitted into this Evocati group. Yes, there's some kind of elite factor to the Evocati, but also there is a working factor to this as well. People are literally doing this for free, and they're paying SIG on top of it. They're literally paying SIG to test the patch. I think it comes down to free help versus paid help, and we need to look at that. But before we get into those particular details, let's look at our poll here. I had message after message where people were really directly upset at Evocati. I think there are misconceptions about what the Evocati are. Let's look here. Are the Evocati necessary? Should we just skip them and go straight to PTU waves? After the release of 3.5 and the terrible backwards feel of the patch, did the Evocati do their job? Now, the first question is really asking people, should we get rid of the Evocati or should we keep the Evocati? Only 100 votes so far. It hasn't been a day. It's been about a couple hours, 17 hours or so. So the votes are still rolling in. If you'd be interested in that poll, go check out my community tab. We always do fun stuff there. But it looks like 61% are saying keep the Evocati. So that's kind of a good note for me, because it makes me understand that people kind of get what the Evocati do for the most part and who the Evocati are. But for the 39% of people out there that are still upset, that want the Evocati out, perhaps it is more an issue of not so much the Evocati, but the process in which these patches are tested. So let's go over some of these comments. I love this one. Brownwind SoCal Gao goes, if any of you were to play the ETF builds, you would quit the game. We are the mine canaries who suffer so the rest of you don't have to. Now that is really funny. I love that, the mine canaries analogy. That's great. They're the first to go in the cave. If they stop breathing, we know we shouldn't go in the cave. It is very true. Dub says, I could be very wrong here, but allow me to be blunt. I feel the majority of PTU players will bitch about bugs, complain about the state of a patch, but not go through the channels to report that bug and get it fixed. I think the Evocati deal with a game that most players would just claim is unplayable, and rather than help fix the problems, they will just go play something else. And again, this speaks volumes to what I think the real problem is, which is that most of the QA testers within SIG are free. The QA testers are not getting paid. In fact, most of them are paying to become QA testers directly, and the fans are, for the most part, QA testers. But let's really check those facts right now. And thanks for everybody who put their comments down below here. There's been great discussion on our community tab. Generally speaking, a company will pay quality assurance testers, QA testers, and it's around a $30,000 salary a year job, so not that great of pay, but they are paid to do a job. Now, interestingly enough, on this PESA site, which is really the only kind of site that I could look at that would give me any information about what's going on internally within SIG, there's like less than 20 positions that are quality assurance testers, and the salary is way higher than the average, which Blizzard pays, which EA pays, of about $30,000 a year, which makes me think, are these actually QA testers or people that have like higher titles that do more than just quality assurance testing? And is 20 or less an accurate number? Is it reflective of what's really going on inside? Not really any way other than to ask directly how many QA testers are employed by SIG. We know they have 537 employees. If this information is true and there's 20 or less, that's not that much. That's under 5% of their force directed towards actually QA testing. And if we look directly on Cloud Imperium's site, you can see that they need a QA tester in Texas, they need a QA tester in UK. The question then becomes, how many QA testers do they have? Do they have enough to be effective, or are they pushing all the patches and all the work that needs to be done on people who are actually paying for the game? Are there more people like Evocati, first and second and third wave testers out there than there are people effectively managing these problems within their company? That is something that needs to be looked at. Again, not quite sure, but I think there is some type of breakdown perhaps in this process that is giving us subpar patches. And I think 3.5 is a very good example of perhaps something not quite right within SIG. It looks like they need more people, as you can see here on the site, and I hope that they do get the QA testers that they can hire directly, and maybe there will be more secure patches in our future. It's something that could possibly be a problem. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I love that you guys are here. Thanks so much for participating in our poll. Thank you for participating in our videos, and I just can't wait to do another video for you guys. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next vid.